You heard the earlier interveners from Legacy Radio who are doing their best, it seems, to access the advantages that the digital world provides, but are still, struggling mightily because of the impact of that the online streamers have had on the entire ecosystem. What would your suggestions be to legacy media to overcome some of their difficulties?
It's really difficult, isn't it? Because and I don't want to be too ideological or political about this, but are we entitled to succeed in our chosen field, right? Like, are we entitled to have success in any sort of profession that we choose to pursue? I would argue my own personal preference is that sometimes no. If I open a bakery and my bakery fails, am I entitled to be successful as a baker? If I open a bakery in a terrible community where there's no interest in the baked goods I have to offer, who has failed in that position? Have I failed? Has society failed me? Has the government failed me? I don't know. These are ultimately sort of like philosophical, ideological questions that have to be answered. I think that when a lot of Canadians, particularly younger Canadians, hear about radio stations failing, they think, well, that's just how it goes. Industry, technology marches on, and there's always winners and losers. And I think that there is concern, as I said in my opening statement, at the idea that at a time when there is a huge, thriving, sort of forward-looking, modern, youthful wing of the Canadian cultural economy and cultural space in the form of online content creators who are often very entrepreneurial, very self-directed, people that have started from very little and have become very successful, in some cases some of the biggest celebrities in the entire world, simply by starting out making content or music or videos in their bedrooms or parents' basement or whatever. The idea that those people are perhaps in some way like a problem that now needs to be solved in order to sort of subsidize people that, God bless them, are sort of clinging to perhaps a dream of success in a medium that there just isn't market or public demand for anymore. So,
but there's also responsibilities that go with those things. You don't have to worry about public alerting. You don't have to worry about weather reports or forest fires and warning people to get out of their homes and things like that. You don't have the obligation to try to find emerging artists and giving them their first leg up. All of those Canadian artists that you see that are doing so well on YouTube, they don't go immediately from that necessarily to worldwide stardom without the assistance and the grateful and acknowledged sort of the honor that we have to expose Canadian content, especially emerging Canadian content makers, to the world. And that comes from the legacy broadcasters. And so I take the entrepreneurial approach as obviously extremely successful and very advantageous, but I still believe that you have an awful lot to offer to legacy media, and I'm looking for notions for how you might work together to the advantage of everybody and cover off some of these very important public policy issues. I mean, you don't have to worry about reflecting equity-seeking groups. You don't have to do any of that, but they do. And I wonder how you might work together.